Hey, I'm Riggers, thanks for dropping in. Today I'm going to be talking about the Sony PSP, and I'm going to give you a quick rundown on some games which I think are some of the best for the system out of the ones I've ever played for it. And I'm going to give you my thoughts on what I think of the console itself, and just a very quick sort of guide running into what you might want to think about if you pick up one for the first time today, or look into getting back into collecting for it, or just want to know a bit about it in general. So this is my PSP I've had since 2009. As you can see, I've decorated mine with some of the Patapon characters. Got some stickers in a Patapon press kit, and decided to be much better adorning my console as like a little custom console. Now you may notice the front of my console is white, the back of it is silver. The console originally was silver. When I was younger, I tried to do some repairs on it as a teenager basically, because one of the buttons, this one, the analog stick, didn't work. I ended up scratching all the inside of the screen, so when I bought a replacement PSP, funny thing, this is the PSP 2000 model, so the second main revision of PSP consoles. I bought a PSP 1000 model. I paid for one on eBay. It's about £28 in working order. And what arrived was not a PSP 1000, it was a PSP 2000. The only thing that was correct from the listing was that it was in the ceramic white colour, but it was not the 1000 model, it was the better 2000 model. So, okay, well that's the result. It's a better console than I paid for. Fair enough. It was not in great working order though. The noise that the UMD reader made, the ribbon or whatever component it is, made some awful racket. So I kind of Frankenstein them together. I was like, well, I've got one with a scratch screen and an analog stick that doesn't work. I've got one that destroys my ears to try and use. So I Frankenstein both PSPs together, replaced, because this is like an individual, I hope I can get the terminology right, an individual little motherboard down here. So I was able to take all the electronics of this bit and replace all the workings of that. So that to this day works perfectly now and has done for about 5 years. And then I took, because the screen is physically attached, like it's all one piece of plastic, the screen and the top of the case, so I just took all of that, stuck it together with my pre-existing silver PSP. So now I have a half silver, half white PSP that I later adorned with Patapon stickers. You know, why not? I quite like it. It's my unique little PSP console, and I've got a lot of memories from it. It's only recently started to make funny loud noises itself, and I thought, well, it's getting a bit knackered, so I think I might get another PSP. And so I have, in the past couple of weeks, picked up this very nice looking lilac purple PSP. Or maybe it's not lilac purple, but it's purple one anyway. I think it's the lilac colour. Very shiny, that. Quite good condition. It's coloured purple slightly on the inside as well. Again, we've got in there is a Japanese, I don't know if it's Japanese only, I'm going to assume it is, spin-off of the Monster Hunter franchise. So it's basically like Animal Crossing, where you play as these cats and these little pigs. I'm very, very new to the Monster Hunter games myself. I've only played an hour or so of that newest one, Monster Hunter Stories 3, Twisted Reflection. But yeah, so I picked up this nice purple Japanese region PSP. And it's a little bit slow here and there, however it does work very well. Again, it's a bit noisy with the disk drive. So this is one I've just got, and this is one I've had for years, and I told you about the other one that I bought as well that had a dodgy disk drive. So it leads into the first point. My rambling has a meaning. Who knew? PSPs might have really loud, like sort of horrible noises when reading discs. I assume there's probably ways to fix that. However, people either don't want to get into the know-how, can't be bothered, or like me, I've not even bothered researching any of that, as of yet anyway. Shut up, laptop. Windows noises. So you might pick up one, whether it's this is a 3000 model, 2000 model. They can make irritating noises when reading the discs that they're not designed to do or weren't intended for. So I'm still getting used to that. My ears are still getting used to that. Like I said, I've been using mine since 2009, my Frankenstein one, and yeah, the noises are annoying. But if you especially wear earphones, or if you can maintain it in some way, or you just don't care, then that's fine. But I just wanted to give you that as an advisory FYI thing. As I mentioned, that's a Japanese, the purple one is a Japanese console. PSPs are region free, so unless you're going for a specific colour or want to collect specific ones, purple's my favourite colour. So I decided I really wanted the purple one, and I wanted it for years, so I got it. With the box up here, you can see this little box set. Very nice, very colourful. So it's been adorning my shelf recently. I'll just put it down here for now. But yeah, from the more casual person to just pick up and play and get some physical games on the go and have that PSP experience, whether you're new to it, whether it's your first time, or you're a long time returning person, or you've always had one since launch. You know, there's a lot to get into it, and it's region free, so you can get any game from any region. There might be individually region locked games, I don't think so, but it'll be good to go if you pick up any American ones. You know, it'll work on any system for the PSP. Apart from the PSP Go, that's a kind of like an old flip phone style. So it's like a flip phone PSP, and that was digital only. So unless you get a hacked one, you're not going to be able to do much with that. PSP 3000 has the ability to plug it into the TV and play. However, I don't see much need to do that. I've never bothered with that myself. And if I wanted to play it on a bigger screen, I'd probably just emulate the PSP games, to be fair. So what is the purpose or need to play it on a PSP as opposed to just emulating it on something else? Like, you can probably do that on phones now, or if you have a Steam Deck or some other handheld PC, or on just a PC itself. What if you don't want the physical goods, or you don't want to run it on the actual dedicated hardware with the, the exact physical nature of the console? Then you don't have to. But for someone who does want to pick up the actual console because there's a certain charm to it, then you're in for a good time, because it's a very comfortable console. The buttons all feel great. You can tell these have both got slightly different designs. The buttons at the bottom are slightly different shapes on them. One of them says home, one of them's got the Sony icon, but in general, 3000, 2000, basically the same thing you're getting. This one has a better screen, so I'd recommend getting a 3000 over the 2000. However, I've always been perfectly happy with the 2000. I've only just upgraded to the 3000, but I still use both of them. In terms of the games, I've picked out just 3 key recommendations. These are all fairly cheap games. One of them especially, considering it was remade a few years ago, which is Crisis Core Final Fantasy VII. I played this as a kid knowing nothing about the original Final Fantasy VII, not any of the plot twists or anything, so I went into it completely blind, didn't know anything about any characters that were good, bad, died or otherwise, and I had a really great time all around with this game. Real-time JRPG combat, getting different abilities and magic, and going through a really in-depth narrative, going sort of rising from the bottom as like a grunt soldier all the way to the top, and all the different things that happen, the good and the bad, boss fights, cool Japanese fantasy, sort of supernatural bizarre stuff with angels and demons and metaphors and poetry and armies and soldiers and fugitives and all sorts of crazy stuff that goes on in the story. But it's an all-time great time. It's quite cheap, goes about £5 now. It's a pretty good game to get into, and it's Final Fantasy, so vast majority of the time with a Final Fantasy game, you know you're going to be in for a good time. Not turn-based combat, real-time combat, similar to how the more modern games work, but it is a fun game to get into. You're looking for something a bit different. Tekken Dark Resurrection on the PSP. It's an excellent fighting game. Personally, my favourite Tekken of them all. Show you some of the art on the back we've got there. Well, it actually advertises itself as a remaster. Okay. the entire game remastered. Seems funny seeing an earlier release, mid 2000s, and it's saying remastered on the back. Remastering still seems like such a more modern concept than 20 years ago. But Tekken Resurrection is a fantastic game. It's a very, very, very technically competent and very robust version of Tekken, especially for on the go and portably. It's very recently been ported to the PlayStation 5 on the 17th of March this year, 2026. Graphically, it's a bit crummy. I wish we could have that version with at least the PlayStation 3 graphics, but irrelevant of its graphical fidelity. It's a fantastic game, stuffed with content, characters, modes, great soundtrack. It plays very well and fluidly, it's very addictive. Absolutely, for me, the best incarnation of Tekken, and it goes for about £2 or £3 for the PSP. So it's absolutely a no-brainer if you're into fighting games, or even if you're not, it's a no-brainer for just trying it and picking it up and seeing what it's all about. And my last big recommendation would be, perhaps an odd choice to some, Ratatouille, because it's a fantastic and very well-made platformer game. Irrelevant of its relation to a Disney Pixar intellectual property, this game has charm, humour. It's fantastic. I made a whole video about it once upon a time on an old YouTube channel. Video's long since private, so don't try and find it. That's how much special I think this game is. I sat down and made a whole video on it before because it's just that fantastic. As it says on the back, you've got 30 missions, 5 mastered worlds, and you can interact with a variety of characters. This guy, this dead chef, who's the imaginary friend of the main character, Remy the Rat, he's full of wit and snark and charm. They have banter back and forth. The game developers even poke fun of themselves when you get to some crazy levels. The chef says, what sort of madman designs a place like this? So, because there's I think it's a sewer or something with loads of fans and everything's just a bit crazy. So the developers are poking fun at how crazy level design can get in the context of it's supposed to being a real world. And you run through levels, it's a fantastic game. Platforming excellence right there. Absolute bang up job of a game. Made by Locomotive Games. And this is an exclusive to the PSP game. There are other games for other consoles called Ratatouille the game, and they have the same cover art. This exact game can only be got here. This isn't a port. This isn't a downgraded version of a game from another console. This exact game, with this game's storyline, which acts as a sequel to the film, and the exact level design of this game does not appear on any other console. Not on the PC, not on the PlayStation 2, not on the Xbox 360 or the GameCube or the Wii or anything else. This exact game, is only on here. Locomotive Games only made the PSP Ratatouille. Every other Ratatouille is a different game. You will not get this game on any other console. So, are those choices a bit random and eclectic? Perhaps. They represent my taste and my favourite memories with the console. Amazing fantasy game, amazing fighting game, and amazing platformer game. All three of them really cheap, a few quid each. They're easy to get in, easy to pick up and just play. They're very engaging, very high replayability value. I've done multiple playthroughs of all of them. And they're absolutely top recommendations for starting with your PSP library today. In terms of peripherals or accessories or anything like that, I wouldn't recommend anything. I know people can tie these little ribbon things, like the wrist straps you have for like a Wii remote or something to these. No, I think they're tacky and horrible. I absolutely hate them. You could get a PSP case if you wanted to. I personally don't have one. I do have one for my PS Vita though, which I will show you. So this is the case I have for my PS Vita. I do use it for my PSP as well sometimes, when I take it to work. It's nice zip up design, harnessed with straps here. And you've got some space to put things away. So if you wanted a similar case built more for the shape of your PSP, I would recommend something like this, because this is quite a nice case. However, in general, I don't think there's much more to say really, apart from a personal recommendation from me is when I'm not using my PSP, I always take the battery out and put it somewhere safely. Because even when you're not using it and you turn the console off, the battery power still drains. and this way it ensures your battery power will stay at the level you have last charged it at, and it isn't constantly in use. I'm not sure if it prevents battery swelling. I think it might do. I certainly hope it does. I've not had any batteries explode or be swollen on me yet, and I always do this method of putting the battery in like a cupboard or a drawer, safe and out of the way. But I don't have kids or pets or anything like that, so your mileage may vary with how practical that is if you just want to keep the battery in and you don't really mind either way about charging it every time. But yeah, I think that's pretty much all I have to say about the PSP. If you want a more in-depth video or have any specific comments or things you want to talk about with it, let me know below. But other than that, I've been Riggers, you've been amazing. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye for now.